Yo, what is up? Hope you're well. Hope the family's doing well. I got a training for you that most clients very commonly asked question. Should you cut or should you bulk? Framework most people get wrong a lot of the times. Structure is everything. If you watch a lot of my other videos, I say structure a lot. If you do not know who I am, my name is Chester Carupo. We've helped over 1,300 plus Filipino Americans burn fat, build muscle, recomposition, while still eating great Filipino food, Asian food, etc. If you guys want to check, if you want to look at my clientele, let me get some water first. You can check out my Instagram here at Chester Carupo, at ChesterCarupo. I post majority of my clientele here. If you guys want to check out the Momentum Academy page, Momentum Academy _ on Instagram as well, you can check out a few of our clients. All right, this is going to be fun. It's going to be super, super fun. Gives you guys a little bit of a different perspective as far as bulking, cutting, recomposition, which is just a mixture of both burning fat and building muscle at the same time. Biggest mistake in fitness. Most people guess whether they should cut or bulk. They try to lose fat and build muscle aggressively at the same time without a strategy. Or they bulk when they should cut, or they cut when they should be bulking. Today, a simple framework to know exactly which phase your body should be in. Bulking and cutting or recomposition, it depends on where you're currently at in your fitness right now. There is no one size fits all in advice for you. Everyone is different. Part 1, 3 phases of body transformation. There is the cutting, there is the bulking, building, and then there is the recomposition, which is technically a mixture of both cutting and bulking at the same time, building at the same time. Cutting means losing body fat or weight. Building means focus on gaining muscle, gaining strength. Recomposition is a mixture of both. And as far as steps go, there's 3 phases. It doesn't go in this order. It's just different phases. Think of phases like seasons. Every athlete cycles through these phases. Each season has a purpose. Fitness is full of seasons. The mistake is staying in the wrong phase for too long. You guys have to understand, you guys want to stay lean, go on a cut. Awesome. But it depends on your structure. Depends on where you're currently at in your fitness. You cannot be on a cut for 3 years straight just because you want to maintain. You have to put your body through different seasons. Switching phases emotionally instead of strategically. In other words, don't switch emotionally just because you feel like you want to be leaner to go on a cut. It has to be properly structured in. When you should be cutting. Signs you should be cutting. You should be cutting weight, losing fat. Waist increasing faster than strength. Energy levels feeling sluggish. Physique looks softer than you'd like. Health markers become a concern. Simple guideline. Obviously, this is general advice. Men above 20% body fat, get a DEXA scan, get a body fat percentage scan. DEXA is just a lot more accurate. DEXA is everywhere. Women, ideally around 30% more. You would want to go on a fat loss should likely be the first priority if this is where you're at right now. General advice, but a good start. Why cutting first helps. Hormones function better at lower body fat percentage. In general, when you're a lot leaner, below around 20% or 15%, your body just functions a lot better. Insulin sensitivity improves. Overall blood work, training performance eventually improves as well. Strength, energy levels, sleep. The goal of a cut is not to starve yourself. Keep that in mind. It's to preserve muscle, maintain strength, and gradually reduce body fat. Hope that made sense. Very simple. Part 3, when to focus on building muscle. Signs you should be building. Strength has plateaued. Frame lacks muscle density. You're lean but look flat. If you do not know what flat means, think of it like when you get a pump at the gym and you feel enlarged, and then sometimes you feel like a spaghetti. That's flat. Energy and recovery are good. Ideal body fat for building. If you are around 10% roughly, 10 to 12% roughly for men, you would want to go on a building phase. Not bulking, but building phase. Women, 18 to 25% roughly. If you're around there, get a DEXA scan, body fat percentage scan. You would want to be going on a muscle building phase. Just got a message. Part 4, when recomposition works. Again, this is burning fat and building muscle at the same time now. Works best for beginners, people returning after a long break, people with higher body fat percentages. In the recomp phase, protein intake stays high, training stays consistent, calories stay near maintenance, scale might not change, but composition improves. What does this mean exactly? It means that we have clientele where when it comes to going into recomposition and they just fell off the gym for a couple months, returning after a long break, or just haven't stayed consistent in working out to begin with. Burning fat and building muscle is the best for these type of people. If you haven't worked out in a couple months, and if you've taken a long break, it's very likely you can get a high muscle building phase, muscle building and cutting at the same time phase for you. What it would look like is that you would roughly stay around maintenance calories. In other words, the calories you need to sustain your weight wouldn't change as much, but we take progress pics and you'll notice you'll burn fat, build muscle. You'll notice that you'll look a lot leaner and you'll also build a lot more muscle. That's what recomposition means. Obviously, there's a lot more to it strategic-wise when it comes to the recomp phase. Part 5, how muscle growth actually happens. Very simple stuff. Progressive overload, increasing reps, weights, total volume over time. In other words, at the gym, you want to focus on getting stronger over time. Use heavier weights incrementally, gradually. Excuse me. You want to get adequate protein, 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. I always say if you weigh 200 pounds, get around 200 grams of protein for the day. Sufficient calories, a small surplus, not an aggressive bulk. A small surplus. In other words, if your weight is 200, multiply your weight by 15 or 14. That's roughly your maintenance calories. If you want to know how to get a more detailed maintenance calories, just find a maintenance calorie calculator on Google or ChatGPT. And then plus 200 on top of that. That's roughly a small surplus. Recovery, sleep quality, and stress management is huge. Muscle doesn't grow during the workout. It grows when the body recovers. In other words, making sure your recovery and your sleep is top tier. Part 6, the biggest mistake most people make. Emotional cycle. They bulk for a few weeks. They panic because they feel like they're getting fat. And then they cut aggressively. And then they lose a lot of muscle, and then they repeat. And then they find themselves back to square one pretty much year round because you go through, and you find themselves in square one pretty much majority of the year, and you find yourself going nowhere. Progress requires commitment to a phase long enough for adaptation. Do not change anything if you haven't done it for at least 4 to 6 months. Most phases should last roughly 8 to 16 weeks, minimum. Minimum, not maximum. So again, 4 to 6 months for each phase. 4 to 6 months for a cutting phase, 4 to 6 months for a building phase. 4 to 6 months if you've taken a long break of working out consistently, or you just haven't worked out consistently at all. 6 month recomposition phase. Consistency beats constant changing strategies. Something I teach my clients a lot in the program is called signaling. Think of it like this. If I text you, yo, let's just say your name is, let's sneeze. Let's say your name is Chester right now. I'm like, yo, Chester, you can go to the grocery store real quick. Actually, take it back. Can you actually go down to Japan real quick? Take it back. Can you actually go down to Vaughn's real quick? Take it back. Can you actually go down to the gym real quick? I just gave you 10 different tasks all at once, a million different tasks. You're like, I'm so confused. I don't know what this guy wants me to do. I'm just going to stay put. That's exactly what happens to the body. If you decide to go high calories for like a couple weeks, your body didn't even understand what that signal was, and you get too scared because you gain some fat, go on a cut, you're on there for a little bit. You realize that you're like, oh, low energy, I'm so hungry, I'm losing muscle, and you're back again, back and forth over and over again. You're not giving your body enough time to understand this signal, if that makes sense. Consistency beats constant changing strategies. Little closing recap. The answer isn't more effort. It's choosing the right phase for you where your body is currently. Once that phase is clear, progress becomes much more simpler. Fitness becomes less about guessing and more about strategy. So recap of this entire thing. Cutting is great. Building and bulking is great. Recomposition is great. How to know when how to know which one you're meant for. Understand where you're currently at right now. Understand these markers. I'm going to go back to these. When to focus on the building phase. If your strength has plateaued or you feel like you're getting weaker, frame lacks muscle density, you're lean but look a little flat, energy and recovery are good. It's a great time to be building muscle going on a building phase. When you should be cutting, when your waist increases faster than your strength. When energy levels feel sluggish, you feel like you're tired all the time, recovery is terrible, strength at the gym gets actually worse. Physique gets worse. Physique looks softer than you'd like. Health markers become a concern. That's a great way of understanding that you should be cutting. Men, again, get a DEXA scan if you really want to be data-driven. If you're above 20% body fat, you want to be going on a cut. For women, if you are above 30% body fat, roughly, you want to be going on a cut. When it comes to recomposition, it works best for beginners, people returning after a long break, people with higher body fat. So, yes, if you have a high body fat percentage, both cutting and recomposition works well, but only if you're returning after a long break and mostly for beginners. Can intermediate advanced lifters still recomposition? Absolutely, but it requires a little bit more education and knowledge on understanding how the body works first. Carb cycling, keto cyclical stuff like that. If you guys want to know how to do that, if you guys want to do that for your body as well, if you're a little bit more intermediate advanced, you're going to want to sign up for at least some sort of coaching by somebody, whether it's us or somebody else. It requires a little bit more deeper coaching. With that being said, I hope this answered your question. If you do not know if you want to cut, or if you do not know if you want to bulk, or you want to recomposition, hope this gives you a perspective on that and gives you some clarity on that. If you want to work with us one-on-one, you want to work closely with us on our team, go ahead and DM us YouTube on Instagram at Chester Carupo, so I know you guys came from here and you guys got value from this. Other than that, that's all I wanted to cover. Hope this gave you clarity. And I hope you had a lot of fun watching this. Have the best day of your entire life. Let's keep crushing it, y'all. I'm hyped.